Bus users, who's champion? Now, the charity bus users call themselves the Passengers Champion, but I've seen a few incidents of recent times that say very much a different story. So, just briefly looking into a situation that I had, the bus operator had contacted bus users first, 12th of March 2025, and they provided a reasonably good woe be me story. And then I came along 2 or 3 days later, and by that time they had clung to one side, as in bus users, and they had got my email, and instead of reading the full thing, Miss Hannah Hutchison Leask was just grabbing random keywords and see if it matched up with what that operator had said, and was able to open the case to close it with an email sent to me, and on the case there have been notes. And by the time the next person that was complaint handler at bus users, as in Carsden Hunter, she was just going along with what was written with regard to the notes on top of the case. Instead of actually asking questions, she just took what was written as fact. This is partly why we had the can't answer that phrase being used in so many emails from her. So yeah, you could see why my case, as it was described by Glaswegian, as effed from the start. Now, if we move on to a totally different situation, Stirling, McGill's bus service were aware that DVSA were operating vehicular checks in Stirling bus station. So there was an email that went out through the ticketer system. If you've got any dashboard lights or strange squeaks or noises or anything, don't come into Stirling bus station, just park somewhere nearby it and resume your journey from there. And DVSA gave McGill's quite a severe, it was a last warning, right? And then suddenly, bus users came in and said McGill's provide good bus services for Stirling and other places such as Glasgow, and then replied, no, this is not what was being asked. Right? DVSA is a bit like what the roads policing unit is, but with more power. Right? And they can take vehicles off the roads to a safe place to do vehicular checks, sometimes extensive vehicular checks if they suspect something wrong. And that is a normal, commonplace part of UK road society. Unfortunately, there's no way around it. The good thing is, if you're understanding with the roads officer, they'll be understanding with you. If you're, let's say, tricky with them, that's when they can be a bit tricky with you. But ultimately, bus users is a charity, nothing more. Bus users complaints tribunal held more weight. This is just woke charity, right? And if DVSA say there are vehicles with critical defects, then there are vehicles with critical defects. But ultimately, this final warning was removed. You've got to remember your place in society, actually. DVSA is the top of the tree. Bus users is probably about 8 or 9 rungs down the ladder. And just because you say to the DVSA, McGill's is a well-respected operator through Inverclyde, Paisley, Glasgow, Stirling, and very, very vast majority of customers have no problems with ourselves. That is not going to get out of a matter that is a roads matter essentially. But ultimately, the final warning was removed, but I don't think it's gone. I really don't. I think it's moved to another part of the license registry system. It's a bit like when a wee 16-year-old gets caught smoking weed, he gets a fine, he pays the fine. Right? It just moves to a different part of the system within time, maybe within a year it goes to a very, very deep recess of your criminal history, and that's it, but it does stay there, sadly. So, yeah, in my situation, they had helped the operator, right? Not at any point did I receive a scrawny scrap of help from bus users. And if it was a situation that was maybe out with a realm of expertise, they had to contact me and say, like, this is too serious, or this is too complex for us to deal with, or we recommend you contact your MP or whatever. But they didn't. They just was obstructive rather than helpful, and that is what I explained in 2 different complaints to bus users. I know some customers can be difficult to work with, but I've worked customer jobs where we had a big range of customers we dealt with on a daily basis, but even the most difficult ones had to receive some sort of service, and that's that, there's no escaping. So yeah, and another example of bus users being the operator's champion was a bus operator has got a big range of new buses, and they came racing in to take loads of photos of the buses, take photos of people on the buses. Some people were wearing what's it called, the Catch a Bus Month big red foam hand, which I absolutely despise. It's just a massive red target, to be honest. But it wasn't about customers getting a new bus and a more reliable experience. It was just about chumming up with the operator, really. Oddly enough, we actually pay for our tax, council tax, for services like this, and I don't really feel at this point in time they're doing the most honest job. The way I see it is, from the top of the tree is the operator's champion. Bus drivers don't get a say in this matter. Bus users are just completely wash over, and then the customer is at the bottom. We're at the bottom of the pile. We just have our complaints looked at, quick couple words, skim a few bits of words off the top, and throw the rest in the bin. That's like a Hannah Hutchison Leask type way of dealing with things. Carson was partly going by the notes on the top of the case notes. I had not any good things to say about being under Carson Hunter's care, or lack of. And Hannah she only provided 3 emails, one on the 12th of March 2025, and then regurgitated a fact from 2025 and a 2026 email, although the time had elapsed. And then the last one was because I was pulling her up for a variety of things like netiquette, not reading the complaint, and regurgitating old useless time barred information. The whole feigned abuse thing. The thing is, as I've said in other vlog, I work in a charity that actually helped people who were being abused to get away from abuse. And to be honest, what she was saying compared to what I've been told is absolutely irrelevant and doesn't have any weight. Nothing that I brought to either Karsten's attention or Hannah's was ever considered. I felt left out, and I felt, although it was a complex case, a lot more could have been done. So therefore, at the end of March 2026, I disengaged formally and asked for my data to be deleted, which actually has happened, so that's good. That was from Lydia Thorbury. I had to write down to London to get this. That just shows where things are at. Now going forward, the case I brought to the Bushes, it's not going to go any further in the sense that I'm not going to get any help from Bushes as in any capacity by any person, and I'm going to have to just put all that horrible experience aside and away. It's a bit of a bad day when bus users aren't interested in helping, but when you get to that stage there's nothing else you can do. So the best thing you can do is just move away from the case and move away from all the bad feeling from what emanated from the case being handled by Bushes in the first place. A fun fast fact, bus users had only engaged in 183 complaints through the customer. That time period is a year, and that time period is 365 days. 365 days to look through 183 complaints. That's a very, very quiet day in the office. Bear in mind, it's not just an office, right? You've got Edinburgh, you've got Sheffield, you've got Leeds, you've got London. So that just stretches even more how quiet a paper run they are having in that set of offices. And that's actually quite a smack in the face, to be honest, because there was a service that I actually worked for nearly 2 years, and for the information and for a general comparison to what I did compared to what they did, right? In the time frame 2015 up to 2016, I was the front of house for 3,000 people, right? Some of these people appeared twice, but on the books I was the front of house for that amount of people. I worked really hard with these people. I referred them on to various services as appropriately. Me and my team worked our arses off comparing to this 183 complaints underheld by bus users. It makes me sick because the amount of work we did as a company, some of us actually had to do a few late shifts up to about 8 o'clock at night to get various information put through people to specialist services, you name it. So it really does actually, it's quite a hard just to deal with 183 complaints in quite a broad time. That's ridiculous. Another job that I did, it was customer related. Sure, we had a plethora of customers that were either hard to work with or similarly noted as what I described, but we had to provide them a service at the end of the day, even if that was leading them on to other services. And to leave a customer in total darkness is absolutely ridiculous. My advice to anyone that has a problem with their bus operator, try and contact the bus operator first. If you're not going to get any success out of that, don't go to bus users. Just don't. Maybe try and speak to your MP, because MPs can provide quite an amount of help. But overall, don't touch bus users. And for my case, I think the best thing for me to do is to try and pretend it never happened, because nobody's going to be given any hoots anytime soon. So why bother trying to dig my hands into the ground with only a spoon, so to speak? So it's just a matter of that. And again, if I have another issue with another operator, best thing I can do is contact the operator. If they don't take it up or they're not really interested, just walk away from it. I have got a push bike that can deal with some small to medium journeys, and that's all I can do. It's just me pretty much finished up with my deep dive into bus users.